I love to paint and I love to draw. I like to make collage and I like to make little books. I was doodling on this piece of paper and decided to see where it would take me, because each piece of art that I make is a separate journey. Each piece of art is a work. It's a puzzle. Puzzles that need to be put together. I love color. And this is pretty colorful, but I've done much more color in other work. It took a while to sketch this out because I did those little designs, the lines on the white pieces in the upper third. And just trying to put some lines in there, break up the space. There was a point that I had to get past. I felt like, wow, this is really bad. And yeah, I've tried to fight the negative inner critic throughout my career, and it's taken a lot of practice to be able to not listen to that voice. It's just a whisper in the background, but it's something I have to consistently work on. So I have no idea what this piece is about. I don't have a plan. I'm just aimlessly putting paint on this mixed media paper. I'm really enjoying this color. I mixed a little bit of neon blue, very little amount, to a little pile of white acrylic paint. And I think using the neon blue has actually made a really nice soft blue. It doesn't seem so washed out. The color, I mean. And so I'm still working on this, and I'm looking at it from another angle now. And I'm just continuing to try to get the paint off my brush. Here I come with the smaller brush. I like the bristle brushes the best because they are much more forgiving if you leave them sitting out, where the matte medium or gel medium starts to dry on the brush. Nylon brushes would usually be ruined, but bristle brushes are more forgiving. They, when you go to rinse them off, the stuff actually comes off for a while. I have to just, scrub my brush around in the palm of my hand with a little bit of hand soap, and it takes care of it. And see, my paper is getting overworked here. it's starting to kind of wrinkle up from all the layers I've put on here. But I kind of feel like until this piece of paper starts to disintegrate, which I very doubt will happen because I'm fortifying the whole thing with acrylic paint, it's gonna be plastic. So I'm not worried about the crumpling of the paper, whether it's, getting lumpy, wavy. It doesn't matter to me. For a long time, I couldn't create art. It may have been a year, may have been 2 years. I don't remember how long it was, but I had this notion of perfection, that everything needed to be perfect. And I really had this inner critic voice that just, convinced me that I was no good and that I was just going to be an embarrassment to my family. And I was just going to make a fool of myself. So I was stuck. I like this part. Put some paint down, put a paper on top, and see what the paper decides to leave behind. I love a little brayer. I have all sizes. And every couple of years I have to peel the outer part of the brayer off because there's so much layers of paint on there that it gets to the point where you can't roll the brayer because it's stuck in position. I know I need to take care of my tools. I need to get better at that because, your tools, they are what help you express yourself. So I'm saving every little bit of paper there because I want to see if I can use it anywhere else in this piece. I really like how those pieces of book pages just kind of stuck on there. Ooh, I think I got a little bit of a transfer on that one. That's cool. I like it. And so now it kind of looks like a landscape. You got your horizon line. I'm going to try to beat that down a little bit. I was taught in school that the good thing to do is to work the whole painting. And just kind of go around and put color, the same color in different places. It unifies the piece. And it's just good to not get stuck in one area of the painting, the drawing, the work in progress. And I have to take some stuff away from the table because stuff just starts to pile up. That's one of the cons of being a mixed media artist. So you use so many different type of supplies that, well, since you have a lot to work with, it's bound to get on your table, and it ends up getting a little bit cluttered. So I'm starting to see faces in here. I see a big face. I see one eye. And yet if I look at it another way, I see another eye. When making work, as I'm thinking about what I want to do, whether I want to put some paint on or some pencil marks, then I just go for it. And I just keep working away at the edges. And as soon as it starts to look like something, then I kind of want to just either turn the page around or just plaster things down on top, like what I'm doing now. Wow, look at that piece. Oh my goodness. Set that aside for another project. And see all these marks that I did with my pen, all those little lines and stuff. They really draw the eye in. I think that's the first thing, other than the red orange, that really makes something pop out. So those details. The color or the shape of something will draw somebody from across the room. And as they get closer, they see different things the more they get closer to it. Wherever you are in the room, you're going to see something different. This brush was a goner. That's one of those nylon brushes that they're not forgiving if you forget and you leave them out, and they have been used for spreading matte medium or gel around. So I thought, man, I don't want to waste another brush. I hate it. So I just started using it even though it was stiff. And it's a great spreader. I can spread the paint around. I like it. It's akin to those rubber devices they sell. I forget what they're called, but they look like rubber scrapers, spatulas. And people buy these and they're pretty expensive. And I've got this brush here that is stiff, but it has a little bit of flex to it. And it's doing the same thing that a tool like that provides. I'm all about conserving money, not buying the most expensive products to make my art. One day, if I make a lot of money, I would like to own a bunch of golden paints. Like, that's my dream anyways. I don't know why. I don't really care for their mediums, but the colors, those little black marks on the outside of the bottle where they paint a little strip on there so you can see how much of those black marks you can see through the paint, so you can decide how opaque or how transparent you want your paint to be. Those golden paints are great for layering too. And I don't know, I just don't feel, not that I'm worth it, but I don't know, I can't see spending that kind of money. And I just can't get my head around it. Somebody once told me, hey, don't ever think that you can't treat yourself to some, better paints and stuff. Because I told her about the dream that I had of owning those. And she said, your work is so good. You should be painting with those kinds of brands. And I was really honored that she said that to me. I was quite taken aback. And I have a hard time taking a compliment in. As soon as I take it in, I forget it. I'm like, get it away from me. I don't want my head to get any bigger than it already is, because that's not what this is all about. It's just about a freedom of expression, allowing myself to just play. Now, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but that's the fun part. I want to be surprised. I want to be intrigued by an effect that I get from, like this, pulling down the paper and being rewarded with those lovely textures. I'm surprised that the paper didn't stick to the painting, but now look, I have this piece here that I can set aside to dry, and that would look great in another work, or maybe I'll take it and shove it into my art journal, who knows. But look at this thing, how much it's changed in just the last 20 minutes. And I see so many different things that this could be. And look, here I go with a brazen move. I'm just gonna pop some neon or whatever that is, some kind of a really bright color. And I'm just, I'm going for it. It's like, that's the beauty of being an artist, is being able to make decisions and not let anyone tell you shouldn't. You gotta do you. And if what you're doing is frustrating yourself, then you're not doing it right. Because making art is fun. I don't know why anybody would want to make art if they weren't having fun. But, that's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm not, I don't know all the answers, but that's just how I feel. I feel like, man, God, I don't even want to stop doing this. Sometimes my husband has to tear me away from my table. And I feel so fortunate to be able to do this and not beat myself up because it's not good enough, or it's like, what the hell, who's going to want to look at this? I'm really thankful that I have this ability to work out my feelings or anything I'm trying to process through a piece of artwork. It's like writing that list of things you need to get done, so that way they won't be torturously, replaying over and over in your head. That's what I'm talking about. Making art should be fun.